So here we have track 11 from the Pressure album. This one is called Drag Me From Hell, and it's the official video from Ekoh's YouTube channel. As usual, please go and check out the original creator of this content. They made this. They put their time, their energy, their soul into this. I'm just watching it, so if you liked it, go and check out the original. Support the artist. Link will be in the description. So yes, I'm working my way through the Ekoh album. This was a request from Jen the Gem from the Patreon. That's why there are so many Ekoh songs hitting the channel at the moment, doing the whole album. I think in the future, when someone requests an album, I might do the entire album in one go. I think that might make just the whole process easier for people. And I might not even do the music videos. I might do an initial Spotify listen, see what I think, tell you my initial thoughts, and if there are any tracks that really resonate with me or you want me to go deeper into, then perhaps we can dive into the lyrics, we can dive into the music video a bit more, because there's just so much good music to get through. So I've been loving the Ekoh Pressure album so far. I'm loving the collaborations that we've had. That's introduced me to some artists that I haven't heard before that I want to go and check out more of. I really like Ekoh's content in his music. I like his vulnerability. I think it's a really brave thing to do. I think the topics that he is talking about are topics that we should be discussing far more openly than we actually do. I think that would be really helpful for people. So remember, this is connection through reaction. I've taken the therapist part out of it. Let's connect. Let's connect as humans. I'm not an expert in you. I'm not an expert in your experiences. I'm not going to analyze Ekoh. I want to listen to what he has to say and then maybe relate that to what I see in practice and what I know. Ekoh is sharing with us his experiences. If anything that Ekoh says resonates with you, if anything my reaction resonates with you, if anything I say resonates with you, then please share in the comments. Let us know. Let's connect with each other. So let's get into this. This is Ekoh, Drag Me From Hell.
If you drag me from hell,
in a church,
would I still be safe from myself? I can't wash this blood off of my hands, even if you can drag me from hell. I won't be safe from myself. Yeah, I'm scared of me, and I've been feeling like a funeral director with the feelings that I'm burying. The more I make, the more I'm spending on this therapy, and I still make the same fucking mistakes. It's embarrassing, and maybe this is honest to face. Maybe this is life, maybe I'm afraid if you see the real me, then you won't like it. Cause any substance I've been using to escape the very thing that's also making me fall apart, but I still invite it. I seem to fuck everything up, and even when I try, it's like I keep fighting against the current every time. I disconnect from myself. When did the boy inside his room become a ghost in himself? If you drag me from hell, would I still be safe from myself? I can't wash this blood off of my hands, even if you can drag me from hell. I won't be safe from myself. Drag me out, but I don't think I'm...
Right, so obviously having to stop to make some fair use commentary. So that looks like it's the end of verse 1, the end of the chorus. As usual, Ekoh has the lyrics in the description, which is really helpful. And the initial reaction to this is that there seems to be this idea that he is currently experiencing hell, whatever that looks like, emotional hell, physical hell. That is his experience of life. And if you are somehow able to extract him from that, extract him from this hell, take him from that environment and drop him elsewhere like a Google Maps person, then he is posing the question, would that actually change anything? And we can see some of the words here. You know, he says, would I still be safe from myself? As in, is it me that creates that hell? So if you move me elsewhere, is that just going to become hell? Am I going to create another hell? You know, it's part of me. It's part of my experience. I'm still going to relate to myself in the same way. No matter where I am, I'm going to have the same thoughts in my head. I'm going to react to these thoughts in my head. I'm going to react to external stimuli in the same way. Yeah. Let's carry on. We're halfway through. Let's carry on.
Drag me out, but I don't think I'm escaping this. Loneliness, it got me thinking some crazy shit. Acting proud, that poison is probably killing slow. I am the enemy, origin story started in a broken home. Everyone leave me alone, pressure got me on the edge. I'm about to lose it again, all the meds got me in a fucking haze. And hurting anyone around me, trying to feel better but can't. Break from this negative force that I've been holding since spending birthdays in psychiatric clinics. And trying to blame myself for everything I couldn't course correct. Been torn to shreds and thought I'd fix it if I could get more success. But know that I seem to fuck everything up, and even when I try, it's like I'm pretending I'm someone else, but it's a lie. And I don't know what'll help. When did the boy inside this room become a ghost in a shell? If you drag me from hell, would I still be safe from myself? I can't wash this blood off of my hands, even if you can drag me.
Oh, I like the little drum fill.
From hell, would I still be safe from myself? I can't wash this blood off of my hands, even if you can drag me from hell. I won't be safe from myself.
Done. Short but sweet. Was it short? 3 minutes 4 seconds? That doesn't seem that short, but it seemed to have gone quick. Probably because I just enjoyed it. And there was a line. Oh, am I still speaking to my mic? There was a line earlier on that really stood out. It says, "The more I make, the more I'm spending on this therapy, and I still make the same mistakes. It's embarrassing." So I'm not quite sure of the relevance of the more I make, as in the more money I'm making, I'm guessing. Maybe it's suggesting that money isn't the barrier in this instance to accessing therapy, but as he has access to more therapy, he can get it, he can get the more therapy. I don't think that's a very well structured sentence. The more therapy doesn't help as he keeps making the same mistakes, which he calls embarrassing. And I'm just thinking about this idea that this drag me from hell, will I be safe for myself? He keeps making the same mistakes no matter the help that he's trying to get. So is he seeing it as a problem in him as opposed to his environment? Because even when he's accessing therapy, he keeps still making the same mistakes, implying that the mistakes are within him. The problem with it is with him from his perspective. But I don't think it's unusual for people to be accessing therapy and still continue to make the same mistakes. Therapy's hard. It's hard reflecting on your past. It's hard reflecting on your experiences, understandably so. And then it's hard when you go out and you try to do new things, because although my type of therapy, so I'm not speaking for all types of therapies here in all modalities, but in my type of therapy, there's obviously an element of reflecting on your past, thinking about your learning history, thinking about genetics, thinking about kind of everything that makes up you as a person. Learning where some of your behaviors and some of your responses have come from, and understanding why they might have been adaptive at the time. That's a really important part of therapy. But there's also a really important part of therapy, which is moving forward. So, for example, you have a history of being rejected and being abandoned, but you still want some sort of social connection. You have a value, you have a want of social connection. So you start gently reaching out to people to connect with. You're having to do behaviors that are difficult, that you haven't done before. There's a lot of doing in therapy. There's a lot of having to do things that are unpleasant and uncomfortable and are painful in order to move forward. But that's hard because all your experience tells you it's not going to work. And again, understandable. Your experience is your experience. They are things that have really happened to you. And then what can happen is you reach out, however, whatever that looks like. someone tries to connect with you, like it looks like it's beginning to work as such, like the initial stages, but then it brings up all those feelings from before, and you withdraw, and you potentially let the other person down. Now you feel guilty, maybe. You might not feel guilty, but maybe you feel guilty. You've let the other person down. You feel guilty about letting them down. You feel bad because it's not worked for you. You feel worthless. You feel hopeless. And then that cycle begins again. It's a vicious cycle. It's hard. It's hard. I get it. And there's also other lines in here as well, like which kind of connects with this. I seem to fuck everything up. And even when I try, it's like I keep fighting against the current every time. And then again in the second verse, we see hints at those earlier experiences. I am the enemy. Origin story started in a broken home. Well, there are those earlier experiences that your brain is going to refer to when decision making about your safety. Don't connect with people. They hurt you. They leave you. I can't break from this negative force that I have been holding since spending birthdays in psychiatric clinics. Now, I don't know if by clinics he means in an inpatient sense, an inpatient ward, or if he means an outpatient's doctor's office for an appointment. But again, it shows a repetition of behavior, and that likely you get used to that behavior. That behavior gets reinforced. You keep doing it, and trying to blame myself for everything I couldn't course correct. Blaming myself that I couldn't course correct, I couldn't fix, I couldn't, there's that feeling of guilt. I could have done more. I could have made better decisions. It's all my fault it turned out this way. And then there's a couple of lines, I can't wash this blood off my hands. And I bring this up because this links in with the overall theme of the song. If you drag me from hell, would I be safe from me? Well, it all turned out this way because of me. So I'm thinking, no, I wouldn't be safe from me because I wasn't safe from me before. I think that makes sense. So what we seem to have here is a narrative of guilt, maybe shame, a story of self-blame for what happened. But this is really common with what I see in practice. I mean, it's hard for me to say any more without knowing Ekoh's specific circumstances. And I don't like commenting and drawing inferences about making assumptions, sorry, about people who are real. That's why I'm okay with doing it with TV shows, which is why I quite like doing them. But I don't like commenting too much about actual people because it's not fair. It's going out on the internet. I could be completely wrong. It's not, and someone could assume that what I'm saying is factual, but it's not. So I'm very cautious. But I will say this: children, adolescence, and I say that because that's where most of my experience is. I appreciate that. Ekoh's older than that. But people will usually do the behavior in the moment that keeps them safe in the short term without much regard to how that will play out in the future. A child will learn to dissociate from a harmful caregiver because they still require that caregiver for care to look after them. An adolescent will sometimes take substances to remove emotional pain because it works in the short term, takes away the pain. Oh, that seemed to have worked. I'm going to keep doing it. People who've been rejected and abandoned will isolate and withdraw because if you don't build relationships, you can't then be let down again. You can't be rejected if you've got no one to reject you. The behaviors and the responses make sense, but they have consequences to them. They may have worked back when the trauma was happening to keep them safe, but maybe now, years later, those strategies don't need to be used anymore. We help people explore alternative things for them to try. And that's really hard to step away from what has worked in the past, despite them having consequences. This is how I do therapy anyway. Again, I'm not speaking for therapists. It's very difficult because you're working against your direct experience and you're working against your learning histories. Anyway, this is going on a bit for a 3-minute track. I don't know how long I've been talking for. It's about 15 minutes. Thank you to Ekoh for being so vulnerable and sharing this with us. It's such an important message. And onwards with the album. We've only got 3 tracks left, so we might as well just get these done pretty quick. So this one is Ekoh, The Sound of Falling. It's the official music video. It's on Ekoh's channel. Go and check out the original material. Okay, I'm just reacting to this. Go and show him some love. Let him know you like his music. If this reaction connects with you, remember this is connection to reaction. Let me know in the comments. Does my reaction connect with you? Does Ekoh's music connect with you? Does his lyrics connect with you? Let me know. So this is Ekoh, The Sound of Falling. And I love it when artists put lyrics in the description because it makes it easy to really hear what they're saying. So let's go. Oh, it's like there's something in his head. He's trying to get it out. He doesn't want it in there.
Many times I gotta prove I'm wrong. Hope I break down. Breathing in, I'm trying to keep it calm. Trapped here, feeling like there's no one I can trust. In this black mirror telling me I'll never be enough. So get your foot off of my chest and let me breathe. I don't know the person you're expecting me to be. Try to brush it off, but I'm just holding it inside. And swear to God that no one fucking feeding all my insecurities. I don't think I can hear myself when these voices talk. I can't blame nobody else, cause it's me talking to myself. It gets so loud inside my head, and that's the sound of me falling into another attempt trying to find out. Is it just in my head, or can you hear it too? I swear to God it's getting louder, I can barely make out.
Okay, so that's coming into verse 2, so I'm assuming this is about, looking at the time, about halfway. And right off the bat, my first impressions are, it's called The Sound of Falling, which is interesting. And it seems to be about, he's talking about kind of hearing voices in his head. You know, I hear them hate. So these words in his voice, very judgmental, they're very critical, which is a common thing that people experience. It's a very common experience for people. And he's saying, how many times I gotta prove him wrong? And that's really interesting, isn't it? It's like these voices are saying these things to me. They're being hypercritical of me. Yet I'm trying to prove to these voices with evidence that actually the things that they're saying aren't true. Yet the voices are still coming to me. I'm still getting them. It's not quietening them down at all. Like, just proving it to them isn't working. Hope I break down, breathing in. I'm trying to keep it calm. So, you know, the suggestion there that the anxiety is rising because of these voices. But I'm feeling trapped here, feeling like there's no one I can trust. So it feels trapped. I mean, they're in his head. They're his voices. They're critical. He's trapped in there with them. He's tried to get rid of them by proving them wrong, but it's not working. Feeling like there's no one I can trust. That's interesting, isn't it? Is that including himself? Whether he trusts himself because of what's going on in his mind? Maybe the thoughts are telling him things about other people. Can you trust other people? I mean, that's very common as well. You know, this black mirror telling me I'll never be enough. Again, hypercritical. You're not good enough. You're worthless. You're unlovable. Those beliefs that people have about themselves. Trying to brush it off, but I'm just holding it inside. And I swear to God, they know how to feed on my insecurities. That's exactly what negative, self-critical thoughts do. They feed on your insecurities. They pick up on them. And I think something that's really interesting here that he highlights is he says, I don't think I can hear myself when these voices talk. So they're drowning out the voice, his voice that he wants to hear. They're drowning it out with those judgments and that criticism and negativity. Then he says, I can't blame nobody else because it's me talking to myself. So the implication there being, it's his voice he hears. So this isn't a psychosis. This isn't, you know, an auditory hallucination he's hearing. It's his voice being critical to him. And the way he says, I can't blame nobody else, it sounds like he's saying, this is my fault. Like I'm to blame. They're my thoughts. They're inside my head. They're my words. It's my fault. That sounds so difficult. It sounds so challenging. It sounds emotionally draining. It sounds physically draining, fatiguing. We had the chorus, it gets so loud inside my head. And that's the sound of me falling. So that's the name of the track, isn't it? Sound of me falling. Into another attempt to try and to find out, is it just in my head or can you hear it too? I mean, my first thought here about this is it feels like he's not saying, can you hear my voice inside your head? It's more a question of, do you have a voice inside your head that says the same things? That's what comes up for me. I don't think it's, can you hear this as well? Can you hear what I can hear? As in the exact thing, but as in, are you having a similar experience to me? And there's that really classic study, isn't there, with the college students. Right. Who's it by? Let me have a quick look. Yeah, so there's that really classic study by Purdon and Clark, which is talked about quite frequently, and it's old now, it's from the 90s. But it just gave an overview of the amount of people who don't have a diagnosed mental health problem, what percentage have certain types of intrusive thoughts. And I'll put it up on the screen so you can see it. I was quite surprised actually at some of these results. So there's a table. It has a list of intrusive thoughts that people have. Remember, these are people without diagnosed mental health problems. And then it splits into men and female, and then the percentage of how many of those people have those thoughts. And there's some really high ones on there, but I'll put them on the screen, and you can see for yourself that it's a surprisingly high percentage of people have intrusive thoughts. Now, I know some of them aren't critical thoughts. We don't know the direct speech of what they're having. And Ekoh is mainly talking about judgments and criticism. But my point is more, we don't have much control over about what comes into our mind, what thoughts are presented to us. And interestingly, in some types of therapy, we will go down a very cognitive route, which will be looking at evidence for and evidence against that thought. And it feels like Ekoh's been trying that, because he had lyrics where he said, how many times do I have to prove them wrong? So it's like he's finding evidence against those thoughts. He's trying to prove them wrong, but it's not helping. They're coming back. So that doesn't seem to be working for him. We know from the literature that thought suppression doesn't work. In fact, what thought suppression does is you end up with this phenomenon called thought rebound, where actually it comes back even stronger. So we know suppressing thoughts, like trying to block them, trying to keep them out of your head, doesn't work. Then we've got other therapies that look more at not the thought content, so what the words are actually saying in your thought, but they're looking more at thinking as a behavior. So the process of thinking. So what do we do with the thoughts when they come into our minds? So this is where like mindfulness type strategies come in. Can you see the thought for what it is, but not get pulled into it? Acceptance of commitment therapy is a great example of this. Can you experience that thought, but not let it impact your behavior? Can you have it there, but not give it the power or strength over you? far easier said than done. I know it sounds like, oh gosh, Stu, if only I could do that, it'd be amazing. It's really damn hard. Takes a lot of practice. But anyway, digressing massively, let's get back to the track. But the takeaway summary, I guess, and what I was trying to say is that we don't have much control over our thoughts when they pop into our head and what that content is going to be. And sometimes the strategies that we use to get rid of them are actually strategies that maintain those thoughts, that actually keep them going. But there are other strategies that work, and there's a range of strategies that can potentially work for people to try and turn the volume down a bit on these thoughts. I'm just going to leave it there, otherwise it's going to get too geeky, I think. And I've got a whole therapy channel that you can go and check out that I've got strategies around this kind of thing. Shameless plug, I know.
Besides this overwhelming sound of my doubts, and every day it's like a fight to find the knob and turn it down, to drown it out with any pill that I can find in this house. But now I'm starting to feel like my mom when I was younger. Maybe it's genetic, maybe she was really taking all the shit to fix a headache. They told me that this will kill you if you let it. But the question, is it me or all the voices in my head that said it? Cause there's a devil on my shoulder trying to test my faith, but never taking credit for all of this mess I've made. I need a double barrel.
Look how tired he looks.
My face, so give me silence or it's Kurt Cobain. It gets so loud.
That's him saying he wants to end it because it's so fatiguing. It's going to come back in, isn't it?
The voice inside me grows. It used to keep me company, but now when I'm alone, it gets so loud inside my head. And that's the sound of me falling into another attempt trying to fight now. Is it just in my head, or can you hear it too?
It says some really interesting things in that second verse. I swear to God, it's getting louder, so it's getting worse for him. There's more focus on it now. You know, I can barely make it out. I can anything besides this overwhelming sound of my doubts. Every day is like a fight to find the knob and turn it down. Exactly, that's what I was just saying. With any pill that I can find in this house, so he's resorting to medication to try and turn it down, to try and get rid of these thoughts. But now I'm starting to feel like my mum, and Ekoh's talked about his mum before, hasn't he, and the struggles that she had. You know, if maybe it's genetic. So he's saying maybe this is something our family has. Maybe this is just something our family experiences and there's nothing I can do about it. And then he's got this line that says, maybe she was really taking all these pills to fix a headache. They tell me that this will kill you if you let it. But I question, is it me or are there voices in my head that said it? Like he's beginning to really doubt himself. So he has a thought about maybe this thing is happening. But then a voice goes, is it though? Is that a thing that's happening? Or are they just saying that's happening? And are you right about it? Maybe you're wrong. And what does that mean if you're wrong? Maybe they're lying to you. Maybe you've got this all wrong. You can see how this stuff snowballs. I need a double barrel pillow just to rest my face to give me silence, or it's Kurt Cobain. I mean, that's pretty clear. That shows the anguish that he is going through, doesn't it? And he's actually thinking about that as a solution now. His brain is presenting him that as a way to solve this problem, which makes sense. And there was this part, wasn't it, where it all came down, and he said, now every silent moment, the voice inside me grows. So when he's not distracted, when he's not focused on something else, that's when it really hits him. That voice grows. It used to keep me company. So he recognizes his voice, maybe from when he was younger, and because it's always been there for him. For a lot of people, it's the first voice that you hear when you wake up is your own thoughts. Like that's who's keeping you company. And he's suggesting that there. In fact, you use those words, the voice inside me grows. It used to keep me company. But now when I'm alone, it gets so loud in my head, and that's the sound of me falling. Like his relationship with his own thoughts has changed. Maybe they weren't as harsh on him when he was younger. Maybe they were. Maybe the content was similar, but now he's putting more weight on those thoughts. So tricky, man. It's so tricky. What a really insightful song of the experience of what it must be like to experience this. I said experience too many times there. I'm sure loads of people listening to this is gonna really relate. Ekoh again, this whole album is just relatable track after relatable track of what it's like to experience intrusive thoughts, rumination, self-critical thoughts, trauma, addiction. He's talking about everything. I like it. Right, let's leave that there. I think I'm going to go straight into the next track. So thanks for watching. So the next track on the album is called Hello Loneliness. But I seem to recall when Jen the Gem, Patreon supporter, thank you very much, suggested this album, there was a point where she said, oh, you need to listen to a track before that one. And I think it might be this one. So Sound of Falling. So the next one she wants me to do are Sound of Falling, Hello Loneliness. So I've just done the Sound of Falling, then Hello Loneliness. So we'll do that now. Goodbye Happiness afterwards. And then the one who holds the light. Okay, so let's do Hello Loneliness. See if there's a video. Okay, there is a video. Let's just cue it up. Okay, so this is Hello Loneliness by Ekoh featuring a Low Spirit official video. And as usual, it's on Ekoh's channel. Go and give him some love over there.
Happiness, yeah.
Oh, let me say that again.
Goodbye, happiness, yeah. Hello, loneliness.
This is a bit different.
I feel you coming back to take a hold again. My oldest friend, I wish you didn't come around so often to steal my happiness and leave me alone again. I wish somebody told me life was unkind before my worst moments opened my eyes. I try to hold on, hold my head high, but every day cuts me like a new knife. I can't be happy living life on my knees, paying every doctor not to fix my disease. I hate to talk about what's bothering me, 'cause no comfort ever comforts me. So goodbye happiness, hello loneliness. I feel you coming back to take a hold again. My oldest friends, I wish you didn't come around so often to steal my everything and leave me alone again. I feel you coming back to take a hold of me, to make me say goodbye, goodbye. Happiness leaving this room, I can feel it, it's getting hard just to be breathing again.
Right, moving into Ekoh's rap there, which seems a convenient place to stop, have a bit of a copyright fair use break for commentary and some discussion, which we have to do. I know people get frustrated about it. Hey, it's the way it is. So clearly here, I mean, they're articulating exactly what they're feeling, aren't they here, both of them? Goodbye happiness, hello loneliness. Like here it comes again. I feel you coming back to take a hold again, my oldest friend. So you've been here before with me. I know exactly what you feel like. I know what this entails. I've got so much experience of this. You know, you're coming to steal my happiness and leave me alone again. I mean, we do this thing in therapy where we talk about, there's loads of different words for it, but understanding of the initial stages of what an experience looks like. So some people might call it relapse prevention. Some people call it part of blueprinting, is another term I've heard used. But it's essentially, how will you recognize when you're going to experience this again? Because people know, and this is almost like what Echo is saying. It's like, goodbye happiness, hello loneliness, here it comes. I know what this feels like. I know what this. I know the consequences of this are going to be. And it must be such a horrible feeling to go through that. And he's saying it's going to leave me alone again. So he knows what happens when this stuff shows up for him. And then we've got low spirits verse. And he's saying, I wish somebody told me life was unkind. Like, I wish when I was younger, someone had said, you know what, life is a bit shit for people. Some people more than others. I get that. Bad things do happen to good people. Good things happen to bad people. It's not fair. But life isn't all fun and games and happiness. The happiness trap, we talk about that often. And he's saying, before my worst moments opened my eyes. So he's experienced something there. He thought the world was safe. He thought that the world was a safe place. Then something happened and it's like, oh shit, it's not. In the trauma literature, we talk about this being shattering of the core belief that the world is a safe place. Or maybe you know that some parts of the world aren't a safe place because you've heard about them on the news or you've read about them. But generally speaking, I'm quite safe. But then something happens and it shatters that belief. I try to hold on. I hold my head high. I try to push through it. But every day cuts me like a new knife. Like something happens every day that hurts me. Paying every doctor not to fix my disease. So like, he's trying to get help, paying for it, seeking consultations, but no one's been able to fix him. No one's been able to get rid of this pain that he's experiencing. Now, I can't speak to why that is because I don't know the specific pain. I don't know what's led to it. I don't know the history. I don't know the current coping strategies. There's so much, I can't even guess. But nothing's helping. I hate to talk about what's bothering me because no comfort ever comforts me. So it's not that he doesn't want to talk about it because it's painful. It's because I don't want to talk about it because when I'm seeking comfort, when people try to comfort me, it doesn't work. It doesn't comfort me. So what's the point? What's the point in talking about it if nothing helps? And then we're back into the same chorus again. So goodbye happiness, hello loneliness. And then we're coming in with Ekoh's rap. Let's go back a little bit just to catch the beginning of it again.
Happiness leaving this room, I can feel it. It's getting hard just to be breathing again. Loneliness showing up here to remind me of all of the things
nice
I know
flow,
I could have been. Taking a hold, I wish I wasn't broken with all this abandonment weighing me down. When things are going good, I just wait for you to ruin it all and then come around. So that darkness hold me tight. Won't you let me go? I'm sick of always feeling broken hearted and alone. I said I'd be okay, just wait to fall in love. You'll see that everything you're thinking will be different. But the first girl I ever loved in my life, I never told, and then she overdosed and she died.
God.
Said that talking about it helps to comfort the mind, but nothing ever comforts mine. So goodbye happiness, hello loneliness. I feel you coming back to take a hold again. My oldest friends, I wish you didn't come around so often to steal my everything and leave me alone again. I feel you coming back to take a hold of me, to make me say goodbye, goodbye. I wish somebody told me life was unkind before the worst moments open my eyes. I try to hold my head high, but every day sing out goodbye happiness. And hello loneliness. I feel you coming back to take a hold again. my oldest friend. I wish you didn't come around so often.
Man, I mean, we've got to talk about that verse. Where was it? Near toward the end of Eko's rap. I'm sick of always feeling broken-hearted and alone. They said I'd be okay. Just wait to fall in love. I mean, that's an interesting thought process there, isn't it? I guess because it's about loneliness, isn't it? Okay, so loneliness is here, and someone has said, look, you just need to meet the right person. You need to get in a relationship with the right person, then you won't feel lonely. I mean, that's not really what loneliness is about, though, is it? Isn't loneliness more about just connection with people, connection with society? And I'm sure in the 6 ways to well-being, 7 ways to well-being, however many they've come up with these days, they talk about both the quantity and quality of relationships. So it's really helpful to have a broad spread of people that are kind of in your community, and you know that you don't have to be particularly close with them, but also have a few close knit quality relationships is the good balance to aim for. Obviously, we don't all get that. So it sounds like there was a suggestion here to echo that actually, look, if you meet the right person, get that close knit quality relationship, it'll really help you out. And it sounds like he actually gets that, does he? You'll So they said I'll be okay, just wait to fall in love. You'll see that everything you're thinking will be different. But the first girl I ever loved in my life, I never told. I don't know if does he mean that he never told her that he loved her, or that he never told that he was feeling lonely. I Reading it, the first girl I ever loved in my life I never told. So I'm guessing he didn't tell her that how he felt about her. And she overdosed and she died. So the one person that it sounds like, I mean, he's saying he loved her, so he was clearly, I say clearly, I'm assuming here that he felt a close connection with her. Maybe she was a friend, but she got taken away from him. And that really, obviously, would have really hurt him. And with that amount of pain that he potentially went through, because I don't know how this affected him and I don't want to make assumptions, but a way to protect yourself from ever experiencing that pain again is to not get into a relationship with someone. If I don't get close to someone, I can't lose them. But then obviously that has short term consequences of not getting close to anyone. They say that talking about it helps to comfort the mind, but nothing ever comforts mind. So people say to him, look, man, talk about it, it will help. And he's saying it doesn't offer me comfort. And again, I don't know specifically why that is for him without knowing him. But it just sounds so painful just to have that stuff in your head, have these experiences you can't share with anyone. Because, and you've tried and it hasn't brought you comfort, which is why you've tried to share them. Our boy's experienced a lot, hasn't he? But I'm glad he's singing about it. I'm glad he's opening up these discussions. You know, I've talked to people, I've talked to other therapists before where they've said, I've had a client, like this is from their perspective, you know, I've had a client who couldn't articulate what they were feeling. Like they didn't have the words for it, they didn't know how to put it into words. And then they've showed the therapist song lyrics or let them hear the song or a clip from a movie. And they've gone to the therapist. It doesn't have to be a therapist, a friend, a colleague, whoever. They've said, this is how I feel. This song, this film clip is exactly what I'm experiencing, just so you know. And that's helped to open up this massive dialogue about that experience. So people opening up about their experiences and facilitating these conversations is really, really important for some people. So look, I'd call this channel Connection Through Reaction. That's what it's called now. It used to be called Therapist Reacts, but look, that feels a bit like me, Therapist Reacts, doesn't it? I didn't want it to be me. I shall offer information that I know that I think might help people, but it's not all about me and my perspective. It's called connection to reaction. It's about, what do you take away when you hear this? Do you connect with these lyrics? Do you connect with Ekoh's experience? If you do, what does it like to hear him going through this? What does it bring up for you? That's it. I don't think I've got anything more to say about this. So let's leave that one there. Hope you liked it. Another great song from Ekoh. Continuing with the Ekoh album, we're nearly there, nearly done the whole thing. Jen the Gem from Patreon recommended this album, and she said there was an order to do these in, and I think I messed it up. So in my previous reaction, which was Hello Loneliness, even though I was reading Patreon at the time, just before, whilst I was recording it, I was reading Patreon, I think I still managed to screw it up. So I think Jen wanted me to listen to Goodbye Happiness prior to Hello Loneliness, and despite reading that, I still did it the wrong way around. So Hello Loneliness, I'm still singing it now. Goodbye Happiness is a track we're going to do now, but it's not from the Pressure album, but we're going to listen to it nonetheless. And looking at it on YouTube, there's Ekoh Goodbye Happiness official video, which is just an image. It's not an actual video. So we'll see if it's on Spotify with the lyrics, because that will just make life a bit easier for me. Okay, so we've got it on Spotify. So let's load it up on Spotify. I previously did Hello Loneliness. This is Goodbye Happiness. So let's check this out. 3 minutes, 4 seconds. Let's see what we think.
Come on, man. Here I go.
Hold on. Of course, someone would come to the front door as soon as I'm about to record. Right, I is back. At least I came to the door literally. I played 6 seconds. Could have been worse. Could have been halfway through. I wouldn't have heard them because my headphones are too loud. Right, let's try that again.
Come on, man. Here I go.
Goodbye happiness, yeah. Hello loneliness, I feel you coming back to take a hold again. My oldest friend, I wish you didn't come around so often.
Oh man, I need to hear. So I'm getting really confused here. It sounds. Let me put on Hello Loneliness, just so I can remind myself of that track.
Goodbye happiness, yeah. Hello loneliness, I feel you coming back to take a hold again. My oldest friend, I wish you didn't come around so often. Steal my happiness.
This has almost exactly the same. Oh my gosh, right, okay. I'm getting so confused here. So that's Hello Loneliness. Ekoh Goodbye Happiness lyrics. Okay, so it looks like the chorus bit is the same. That must be why I'm getting so confused.
Come on, man.
Right, here we go.
Come on, man. Here I go.
Goodbye happiness, yeah. Hello loneliness, I feel you coming back to take a hold again. My oldest friend, I wish you didn't come around so often. Steal my happiness and leave me alone again. Yeah, they're telling me love is blinding. Ironic, it sounds like binding. Cause when I lost you, I lost me. Don't feel like writing. The darkness so inviting. There's something wrong inside me. I don't fear the pain, I fear the day I stop the fighting. That's alright, sure I'll find a way to keep distracted from memories until the ones I heard have been redacted. They're telling me I got trauma, but I should look at, don't wanna. And lately I'm starting to worry, cause I'm about to be the same age my mom was. Her first attempt to leave us there in the night. When I read the letter that she wrote to us, I cried. Realized there isn't heroes in this movie of life, just some people barely getting by. So goodbye happiness, yeah. Hello loneliness, I feel you coming back to take a hold again. My oldest friend, I wish you didn't come around so often. Steal my happiness, yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Alone again. Yeah, now I gotta.
Right, so I love that. It sounded like there was about to be some strings coming in, but then they went away again. So I'm not sure if they're going to come back. But I love the way that was just creeping in there. I like this. I like Ekoh's voice here. I like the acoustic guitar. I think, given all the harder rap I've heard from him recently, this is a nice break. And the lyrics are so closely aligned, aren't they? I'm still getting the two songs confused. Goodbye Happiness and Hello Loneliness. Because it starts with the same words. So we've got, and I talked about this idea of recurrent depression in the previous video, so I'm not going to go through that again, but this is, it's along the same vein as that. There's some interesting lyrics, aren't there? They tell me love is blinding. Ironic, it's songs like binding. Because when I lost you, I lost me. I don't feel like writing. The darkness is so inviting. It's like goodbye happiness, goodbye things that were going well. Now that's gone, I don't feel like doing things that, you know, I normally enjoy doing. I mean, that's one of the 9 symptoms that we look for in depression, that loss of previously enjoyed activity, or loss of pleasure in previously enjoyed activity. Sorry, so I don't feel like writing. The darkness is so inviting, isn't it? You get in that spiral of negativity. We call it the vicious cycle of depression. There's something wrong inside me. I mean there isn't, but it feels that way because of this cycle, and because you can't easily get out of the cycle by yourself, it can feel like there's something wrong inside you. I don't fear the pain, I fear the day I stop the fighting. It's all right, I'm sure I'll find a way to keep distracted. Distracted is one of those things that doesn't work out too well for people. It makes sense. It can work very well in the short term, but long-term distraction isn't a very good coping strategy. And it's really tiring as well to keep yourself distracted all the time. Oh, I probably should have read the next line, actually. It's all right, I'm sure I'll find a way to keep distracted. I thought he meant from this loneliness and the happiness going, but actually it's connected with the next line. I'm sure I'll find a way to keep distracted from memories until the ones I hurt have been redacted. That's right. Just distracted from those memories. It's the same as what I was just saying, that works in the short term, doesn't work in the long term. They're telling me I've got trauma that I should look at. I don't want to. Yeah, people generally don't. It's painful. It's painful stuff up there. People don't want to look at it. I get that. Like, why would you? Why would you want to approach that stuff? And lately I'm starting to worry because I'm about to be the same age my mum was. Her first attempt to leave us there in the night. So just that. You know, just the way that's related to his mum's experience, and not just what his mum was going through, but also his experience of seeing his mum go through that and the impact it had on him. And therefore, if he goes through something similar, is it going to have an impact on other people? Realize there isn't heroes in this movie of life, with some people barely getting by. You know, that strikes hard at the moment. Some people barely getting by. Like, I watch so many YouTube channels that are talking about you know, how to optimize for certain things, how to, yeah, channels trying to motivate people to go out there, get stuff done. You know, there's only so many hours in the day. You can't generate more hours, so get up early, drink a ton of water, stretch in the sunlight, get on. And you know, have a what is it, like cold plunge, have a cold shower, get in. It's like there's so many people out there barely getting by, barely meeting their basic needs. That stuff isn't even going to touch the sides. It's not relevant to those people at all. I don't know why I'm going on about that, but that's something that has been frustrating me a little bit recently. It's almost like sometimes we put the blame on the individual for them not achieving what they want to achieve. Where really it's not an individual problem a lot of the time. It's a societal problem. It's a wider context problem. But I don't want to get into that. But he's right. Some people are barely getting by because they've just experienced so much. There's so many barriers in their way that they can't get out of. They're stuck in these cycles. There's transgenerational trauma stuff going on. Right, I think we got to about here in a way, because then we heard those strings coming in. I'll see if I can put about here.
Loneliness, I feel you coming back to take a hold again. My oldest friend, I wish you didn't come around so often. Steal my happiness.
Those strings there.
And leave me alone again.
Did they go away again?
Yeah. I got a bottle and bag, trying to medicate out of the lab.
Coping strategy.
I'm not looking back. I'm doing 100, a gun on the dash, looking at my life, judging a dog, comparing the post of all of your highlights. It's just a fucking waste of time. Nobody's sick.
Just point that out. Judge. So loads of coping strategies there. Running away, trying to self-medicate, judging his life, comparing the post to all of your highlights. To me, that's like comparing your like Instagram posts, your social media posts, all your stuff that shows you that your life is perfect because you've posted the one photo out of 1,000 that you took where you look the best, you look like you got the perfect life, but it's not a fair comparison, is it?
Judging a dog, comparing the post of all of your highlights. It's just a fucking waste of time.
I love that flow.
Cigarettes they don't hit the same. When all the resentments feel like there's nothing left to say. And it gets easier to deal with what you lose when you know that your best friend is gonna be there with you too. But he dropped me off at my apartment that night.
Building.
When I got the phone call the next morning, he died. I remember there ain't heroes in this movie of life. Then I laid there in my bed and cried. So goodbye happiness.
Woo!
Hello loneliness. I feel you coming back to take a hold again. My oldest friend, I wish you didn't come around so often to steal my happiness. Leave me alone again. I feel you coming back to take a hold of me. My oldest friend, I wish you didn't come around so often. My happiness.
Is that fly?
Hello, loneliness. I feel you coming back to take a hold again. My oldest friend, I wish you didn't come around so often.
Wow. Okay. So there's some interesting. Why is this changed? Has this just gone onto the other track? Hello, loneliness. Yeah. Oh boy, these songs are confusing. So something that really stood out there. So we had all the coping strategies, and then it gets easier to deal with once you lose when you notice your best friend is going to be there with you too. So does it mean his best friend is coming down with you, experiencing the same? Then he talks about this story where he dropped me off at my apartment that night when I got the phone call the next morning saying that he had died. But I laid there in my bed and cried. Yeah, of course. It's a really fucking sad thing, isn't it? And so goodbye happiness, hello loneliness. So he was on this downward spiral anyway. into some kind of depression. His friend's coming down with him. His friend then dies. And obviously that hits Ekoh really hard. I lay in my bed and cried, so goodbye happiness. Of course, you're stuck in that cycle even more, and trying to relate your experience to your friends. I mean, I don't know how his friend died here. I don't know if it was an accident, if it was by mistake, if it was on purpose, I don't know. But to see that happening to someone who's kind of caught up in the same pattern as you are must be horrendous. It must be really scary. Sad in terms of losing a friend, but also what does that mean in terms of your future? And I talked about this network, and I know I mentioned at the beginning in the last track, but this is what happens when you have an experience like this, and one part of it gets activated again later, then the whole thing gets activated, which is happening here. And there's kind of a clue in that as well, what we talked about earlier, when he's talking about his mum, about the same age as his mum. So that thought pops into his head, I'm the same age as my mum, and it kind of activates the emotions, the behavioral response that came up at that time too. Wow. Okay. Because I'm sure in Hello Loneliness, so this was going on to Hello Loneliness. So in fact, let's just listen to this track again while it's here. So this is the same, isn't it?
I feel you coming back to take a hold again. My oldest friend, I wish you didn't come around so often to steal my happiness and leave me alone again. I wish somebody told me life was unkind before my worst moments opened my eyes. I try to hold on, hold my head high, but every day cuts me like a new knife. I can't be happy living life on my knees, paying every doctor not to fix my disease. I hate to talk about what's bothering me, 'cause no comfort ever comforts me. So goodbye happiness, hello loneliness. I feel you coming back to take a hold again. My oldest friends, I wish you didn't come around so often to steal my everything and leave me alone again. I feel you coming back to take a hold of me, to make me say goodbye, goodbye. Happiness leaving this room, I can feel that it's getting...
Right, so we're getting into Ekoh's part. So that was all Low Spirit's part. But what strikes me now is obviously Ekoh in the track we just listened to was talking about his friend that went through the same thing and ended up dying. And now Ekoh's singing this song with a friend, Low Spirit, and Low Spirit's verses here are showing a similar experience to what Ekoh's experiencing. And it feels like there's some kind of connection there. So he's talking about a friend in the previous track, and now he's got a friend with him. They're both having the same experience. Wow, there's something there. There's something there that strikes me as important.
Just to be breathing again. Loneliness showing up here to remind me of all of the things I know we could have been. Taking a hold that wish I wasn't broken, with all this abandonment weighing me down. When things are going good, I just wait for you to ruin it all and then come around. So that darkness,
that's so smooth.
Won't you let me go? I'm sick of always feeling broken hearted and alone. I said I'd be okay, just wait to fall in love. You'll see that everything you're thinking will be different. But the first girl I ever loved in my life, I never told, and then she overdosed.
So again, someone else, losing someone else, activating that network again.
But nothing ever comforts mine. So goodbye happiness, hello loneliness. I feel you coming back to take a hold again. My oldest friends, I wish you didn't come around so often to steal my everything and leave me.
I love that backing.
I feel you coming back to take a hold of me, to make me say goodbye. try to hold on, hold my head high, but every day sing out my happiness.
Oh, our guitar sliding away.
Loneliness, I feel you coming back to take a hold again. My oldest friend, I wish you didn't come around so often.
Oh wow, like, it's really interesting hearing something for a second time. You pick up so much more of the detail in the music. I really like that. I really like that experience, and especially because I don't have the cognitive load of watching a music video as well and trying to think about that. I can see it on Spotify, I can see the lyrics, I can focus on the music itself. This feels like a different experience for me, and I quite like this. Quite like this. Might have to do this again at some point with tracks. So these tracks clearly interlinked with each other. I don't know what the time difference was between them. I don't really want to look because I feel like I spent quite a lot of time confusing myself with this. I'm sure you can map out these lyrics on either side of each other and just see how interconnected they are. They're talking about the same processes. They're talking about experience. They're talking about coping strategies. They're talking about loss. They're talking about trauma. Wow. Okay. I like that. That's really clever. So where does that leave us with? So let me find the the Ekoh Pressure album. Oh boy, I'll tell you what, there's going to be so many Ekoh fans getting annoyed with me at the beginning of that video, with me getting so confused. So we've only got one left, which is the one that holds the light. And I think Jen the Gem, sent me a link to Ekoh talking about this as well. So let's see if there's a video first. I think I'd rather do it through Spotify, because I get a better sense for the music and the feeling. Okay, so looking on YouTube, it doesn't look like there's a video. So we'll go back onto Spotify and we'll check it out on here, because hopefully it's got the lyrics. And we'll just play it, and then, there's no lyrics for this. Okay, right. Let me play it on Spotify in a way. And let me find some lyrics. Ekoh. Because you don't know when you're going to get with Ekoh. You don't know if you're going to get slow, melodic, acoustic lyrics, or you're going to get hard, really quick for my brain to keep up with what he's saying. Let's see if I can find some lyrics. Right, A to Z lyrics. Oh, they haven't even got it on there. Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yo, sick of everybody who watching thinking I have it all. Pocket full of bottles of opiates and the Adderall. Stolen from the purse in my mom's room, telling me do as I say, do not do as I do. Thinking about the end, well then the beginning. Most days feeling like I'm lost or permanently in role play. Never say this, imagining things I don't say. Wanna talk shit, just know I don't play. The game won't save like a checkpoint. Wanna speak, gotta turn, go ahead, boy. Put an X in the middle of your head, boy. I've been making moves like I'm already dead, boy. Lost souls trying to find a way to love myself. I got hurt to hurt somebody else. Angry every time I'm looking back. I'm a misfit with it to my past. Whole life, I've been looking for myself and no light. So dark in my heart, so don't mind when I'm drowning again. I made a friendship with all of my sins. I need some help, but don't know where it is. Give me some hope if you know where it went. If you really love me, then tell me again. Yo, Tesla whip, I take off at light speed.
Okay, so we're halfway through. And again, I like this flow. I like the music. I like it feels like to me there's a bit of a juxtaposition between the pace of the music and the pace of the lyrics, which I like. And just look at some of these words. Yeah, sick of everyone watching thinking I have it all. And he must get this, because he's a good artist, isn't he? He's out there touring, he's putting out records, He's got a few albums. He's on Spotify. He's on YouTube. Like, he looks very successful because he is successful. But it's easy for people to watch that as a fan, thinking, "Oh my gosh, he's got everything." And what has he got to worry about? He's doing what he loves. He's probably making some money. He's getting albums out. He's got studio time. He's, you know. And Ekoh's like, I don't have it all. Like, my life is difficult. Like, I've had experiences. Like, I have my struggles. I have my difficulties. I have a pocket full of bottles and opiates and Adderall, stolen from the purse in my mum's room, implying that that's what his mum was using. And his mum saying, "Do as I say, not do as I do." How I'm guilty of that with my kids, especially when it comes to like nutrition and exercise. Thinking about the end more than the beginning most days. I mean, that could be the end as in the ultimate end, but also the end of when's this day going to end, because I just don't want to struggle through it. I just want it to end. Feeling like I'm lost and permanently in role play. It's like I always have to have this mask. I always have to have this front on me, especially when you know, people have this expectation of me because of my who I am as an artist. There was a bit that I liked about this game won't save like a checkpoint. Just know I don't play the game. It's like you can't go back. You can't go back and have another go. You can't go back and have another turn at this. Want to speak out of turn, go ahead, boy. Put it next to the middle of your head, boy. It's like, you want to say shit about me, go for it. But you see the consequences. Lost soul trying to find a way to love myself. I got hurt, then hurt somebody else. He's talked a lot about getting hurt, doesn't he? In his tracks. Hurt somebody else? I'm not so sure. I seem to remember something about that potentially in the earlier tracks, but I can't remember the specifics about it. Angry every time I'm looking back. Yeah. Right.
I feel the pull of two wolves inside me. Good versus evil, both know and like me.
Let's go back. Let's go back to.
I need some help, but don't know where it is. Give me some hope if you know where it went. If you really love me, then tell me again. Yo, Tesla whip, I take off at light speed. I feel the pull of two wolves inside me. Good versus evil, both know and like me. Childhood home just fucked up my psyche. Fighting with demons to hide the truth. They look like some angels when light hits them at certain angles. To others, they look like a stranger. So do me a favor, don't try to move. Yo, blood on my veins, dirt in the fingernails. A couple of bands that I need just to breathe well. Thinking about the shit that I've done, I don't sleep still. Wonder if the devil sees me in the details. So way down like wet clothes, but I still put the city on my back. No time for the hate and broke hoes. Escape writing rhymes in this pad. Back in the dark, I lived alone, but my worst pieces found a place in there to hide. Took roots and grew where everything would die if they get too big and hope that won't survive. So I had to go illuminate my life in the deepest depths of all the rooms inside. I would learn to love that ugly, but would find that I still don't know the one that holds the light. Yeah. Whole life, I've been looking for myself and no light. So dark in my heart, so don't mind when I'm drowning again. I made a friendship with all of my sins. I need some help, but don't know where it is. Give me some hope if you know where it went. If you really love me, then tell me again.
Oh. Wow. I like this idea of feeling the pull of two wolves inside me, good versus evil. Both know and like me. Like, we both have that. We all have that kind of idea of this wolf, don't we? Kind of devil angel on the shoulders, getting pulled in different directions quite frequently. And there's that old tale, isn't there, of which wolf gets stronger? Well, it's the one that you feed the most. I'm sure we'll come up with for a lot of people. Fighting with demons that hide the truth. They look like some angels, when light hits them at certain angles. Yeah, it's hard to tell, isn't it, sometimes, like which ones are the demons, which ones are looking out for you, and which ones aren't. You know, which ones are helpful, which ones aren't helpful. Back in the dark I live alone, but my worst pieces found a place in there to hide. Yeah. Took roots and grew where everything would die. If they get too big and hold, I won't survive. So that just speaks to me about these really negative, self-critical thoughts, like taking root. And if they get too big and they hold and they grow and they just take over and consume everything, then I won't survive. They'll just be too much for me. So I had to go and illuminate my life, to come out of the dark in the deepest depths of all the rooms inside. See, that deepest depths of all the rooms inside, it kind of reminds me of NF's mansion house there. You know, all those rooms that are locked away somewhere. But you got to get in there. You got to process it. You've got to grow from it. I would learn to love that ugly, but would find that I still don't know who holds the light. So who can do that? Who can illuminate the life? Who can shine that light on it? It's hard to do it by yourself. It really is, because you have that voice. You have those parts he's talking about. The worst pieces, taking roots and growing. Like, it's tricky, man. I made a friendship with all of my sins. I like that. That speaks to me of this idea of acceptance, of like these are part of me. These sins that I have done, they are part of me. Maybe you don't need to make friendship with them, but you need to have some kind of acceptance. And by acceptance, we don't mean tolerance or having to put up with. We mean acceptance in terms of a willingness to experience. We have to have a willingness of experience to experience these and acknowledge these sins that have happened in our lives. Not push them down, not push them away. Give me some hope. So I need some help, but I don't know where it is. Give me some hope. If you know where it went, if you really love me, then tell me again. So it's like reaching out there. And there's a bit of, you can hear a bit of hope in here. You can hear him saying, look, I want to work through this. I really, really do, but I don't know how. I just want some help in that. I know I can get out of this, but I don't know how. I don't have the skills, I don't have the resources, I don't have the knowledge. And I'm sure that is, I'm sure a lot of people will resonate with that. So I am conscious that Jen did send a message which had Ekoh talking about this track. So I want to check that out now. I think that might be quite fun after we've just
out with a song called The One Who Holds the Light. For my money, that's maybe the most introspective song on this record. I was in like a group therapy session, randomly enough, and the counselor was talking about a story he had read about a man who was trying to figure out all these things about himself, and he was shining all the lights, he was shining a light on all the dark nooks and crannies of his soul, trying to find out, who am I? Why do I do the things I do? Who is this actual person? And having to go into these dark corners and these shadows and illuminate it and look at a bunch of things you don't want to look at to find out who you really are. And he did all this work and shined all these lights and figured out all these things out. But at the end of the day, still didn't know the one who holds the light. That like resonated so heavily with me that it became the impetus for this entire song. It's maybe the strongest lyrically. The second verse is maybe my favorite verse on this entire album. So, Pressure, October 29th. You can get signed copies.
The second verse is let's find the lyrics. So the second verse is his favorite verse on the whole album. Okay, that's interesting. Let's see. Because I'm really interested in what resonates the most with him. Yeah, so that's the one, wasn't it, where we were talking about being back in the dark, I live alone, taking roots. Worst pieces find a place to hide there, took roots and grew where everything would die. If they get too big and hold, I won't survive. I had to go and illuminate my life. Yeah. So, and when I was initially looking through this, and please remember, these are just initial reactions I do. This isn't an analysis. I'm not looking at the lyrics beforehand. I'm not looking at anything beforehand. So this is a fresh take from my thinking processes. That's what came up for me. And I mentioned NS Mansion House, which I haven't listened to now for well over a year. But that resonated with me because these are all kind of metaphors, aren't they? They're all metaphors for the same thing, which is we have these places within us that we're either completely blind to because we don't have them in conscious awareness, because the brain can only give us so much information at any one time. And there's so much going on during the day, we don't need to be aware of of those places. There's places that our brain protects us from going to because they're too painful, which is what you get a lot in trauma responses. So it's a protective mechanism. And then there's probably things that our brain does draw attention to, but we just don't consciously understand the link or why, or we don't see the relevance of it. But I think reflecting on some of these things, especially the bits that, so you say trauma therapy, the bits that our brain is protecting us from experiencing, like that's important stuff in there. There's learning in there that would be really helpful if it took place. I mean, even if you think about it from a trauma, fragmented memories perspective, so those core components of trauma like hypervigilance, avoidance, reliving, or flashbacks, or intrusive memories, like that's what keep not shining the light on them is what keeps, that's supposed to be a torch, by the way, is what keeps those symptoms going. But I think outside of that, I think there is still some utility in exploring this stuff with someone who's trained to do so, just to understand where you've come from as a person, how you've grown into who you are, thinking about nurture and nature, previous history, learning experiences, parenting. I think that can be really helpful for people. And I like this idea that you take and shine a light on it. And Ekoh was saying, and once you work through all of that, you still don't know who's holding the light. And for me, as someone who tends to favor acceptance and commitment therapy, there's this process within that called self as context, which is where there's a level of us thinking. So I'll have thoughts going on through my head right now. So I might be having the thought of, I hope this video is going all right, or maybe I'm rambling a fair amount in this one. But then the question is, there's a part of me above that thinking part that can notice me doing that thinking. So I can have the thought that I wonder if I'm rambling, but there's a part of me that's noticed I've had that thought that I am rambling. So there's like this higher bit. We sometimes refer to it as the observing self. To me, that's the bit that's holding the torch. It's that observer of our own experience. And that observer is always there. And in therapy, we try to step into that space in order to get an awareness of what is going on for us in that moment. It's really, really interesting. If you're interested in this, look it up. It's from Acceptance and Commitment Therapy. Self as context is the process. It's also called the observing self. There'll be loads of remarkably similar processes, I'm sure, in other modalities and other perspectives. But it's that kind of thing. It's really interesting. But I like the way that Ekoh has picked up on this as being something that's quite helpful. And is also, he's kind of posing the question, well, who was holding the torch? Who's shining the light? It doesn't seem like he's got an answer. I wonder what he would make of my response to that. because I'm sure intuitively he knows it's him. But it's that observing part of him. I mean, it's almost like the way the metaphor works is really well, like the observing part. Well, he's shining a torch on it and observing that part as well. There's a good little bit of play there. I like it. So that leaves us. That's the Pressure album. I mean, there's some. I mean, when I look at the track list, they're all bangers. Literally all of them. There's not one that I disliked. There's not one that I probably wouldn't listen to again. Some massive collabs on there. Tech 9, 0936, Low Spirit, Nate Vickers, Sky Daddy, Sensors Fail. Who was the guy? Travis, someone. He really stuck out for me. He had a brilliant voice, but I can't remember. Is it Nate Vickers? Is it Nate Vickers from Travis? No. No. What am I talking about? It's not Nate Vickers. His name's Travis. Colorblind, he was from. What track was that? Was that not on this album? That must have been on. Maybe that was a standalone reaction. So I forget I said that. But what I want to do, it took me forever to get this album out because I stupidly decided to do it through individual tracks, looking at all the videos and doing a breakdown. I think what I want to do next with Ekoh is actually listen to an album, do it as an album reaction. I'm just having a quick look at what albums he's got. So Pressures. So he's got one called, it looks like it's called the Detour, the D4 tour. Is that the D tour? I suppose, I'm guessing the 4 is supposed to be an E. Oh no, there's the D3 tour, and then the D tour, and then the D tour with the 2, and the D tour. Right, okay, so they're different. They're different. The, like wordplay for the album of what number it is. So how many albums has he got? Wow, he's got loads. But I could probably. I think I'd be better off doing an album reaction with some brief thoughts and some brief pick out some lyrics and what the song's about overall. Not too deep. And then if there are any other tracks that really stand out and I think I need to dig into that a bit more, I need to analyze that, I need to understand it better, then I can do that as an individual track and at the same time check out the music video that goes with it. So the album reaction will be an album reaction with no videos. I think that would be pretty cool. I think that will allow me to experience more of Ekoh instead of doing it individually like this. Yeah, that's my plan. Let me know what you think. Let's leave it there because I've been talking for 47 minutes. So this will be quite a long video, but I'm just going to publish it like this pretty much. So hope you like it. So Jen the Gem, thank you for introducing me to Ekoh. I've really enjoyed this journey to the Pressure album. It's great. I'll certainly be listening to it again in my kind of not recording time. Yeah, let's leave it there. So thanks for listening. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.